So why does this work so well? This strategy is absolutely fantastic because guess what? We are here employing both man-made laws of money, which is, managing and spending and working out and budgeting, etc., and taxes, and combined with spiritual laws of money, where we're changing how we feel about money, and we're changing the signal we're giving off to the ethers of the universe. In today's topic, we're covering 3 steps to cash flow mastery. This is my all-time favorite topic to talk about, and I absolutely love it, and designed it at my lowest moment. So a little bit background how this strategy came into being. It came in the moment when I literally had no money. So as I mentioned, as you guys know, that when I left my ex-husband, he pulled the financial card on me, and because he didn't want me to divorce him, he did it in the way that he didn't give me any money, and he felt that by doing that I will be forced to go back to him and I will not actually file for divorce. Anyway, so at a time when I wasn't getting money from him, but also remember that I am actually a property millionaire, so because I'm wealthy, I wasn't able to get any state welfare either. I wasn't able to get any benefits. They found out they had too much equity, that I had issues because we're going through divorce. Anyway, long story short, the point being, I had to come up with a system. I came up with a system, and with that, so this idea was intentionally born to teach. It was born for me to attract more money because I understood the laws of money, and I understood the spiritual laws of money and man-made laws of money, and I was trying to figure out a way that I could use the money I already have to attract more abundance to myself, and to expand my wealth consciousness, and to expand the money I could have, make, and keep. And this is when this 3 steps to cash flow mastery was born, and then I applied to my life. So I'm going to give you the exact strategies and exact steps that I took then, when at one point I was only bringing in £136 every 4 weeks, because that's all I could get, and that's through the child benefit that we get in UK. So that's the only thing I was entitled to, was the child benefit, and that's what I was getting at the time. So let's get started. So how are we going to do this? So the very first thing I want you to do is, first of all, I want you to keep an open mind. And I know I'm going to give you a few things which you may think, what is she on about? How does this doesn't make sense, or this is too complicated, or how would I even implement this to my life? I promise you, I've broken this down step by step and simplified it to its bare minimum, so that you can utilize it today. And I promise you, if you apply this strategy in your life, you cannot help but get the benefits. You can't help but attract more money. You can't help but attract greater and better opportunities to monetize those opportunities to bring more wealth and abundance into your life. And you will also start feeling better about money. It's really powerful strategy. But before we should talk about the strategy itself, I want to have a quick stop, and I want to ask you, how do you really feel about money? Now, we've done this exercise before, and in one of the other exercises, if you've not done this in one of the earlier podcasts, I did ask you to do this exercise before, then do this right now, okay? Take a piece of paper, get a pen, and write out for 5 minutes, when it comes to your mind, what do I really think? How do I really feel? It may be that you haven't heard the earlier episodes, so you're going working your way backwards, which is fine. So in this case, in order for us to work out how you really feel about money, not the superficial thing, not what not the thing that you say after reading the book Think and Grow Rich, or because you all these gurus tell you to think positive about money. I don't want any of that rubbish, okay? I don't want any of that BS, because I want you to be honest and truthful to yourself. There's no one else here listening. No one else here cares. Only you do. And it only affects and impacts your life, no one else's. So be truthful, be honest for once, and be honest to yourself. And the clearest picture you'll ever get about something like this, because you want to get what's in your subconscious mind, which are core beliefs, is when you free flow write. So I want you to grab a piece of paper, I want you to get some pen, and I want you to put a timer on your phone for 5 minutes. And I want you to write free flowing for the next 5 minutes about, when I think of money, what do I think? So initially you may actually start with money means freedom, money means traveling, money means this. But eventually, if you don't allow your subconscious mind to interfere in the writing, you will get to the point when you actually start writing about, the bills. Do I have enough of the bills? Do I have enough of the mortgage? Do I have enough of for the credit card payments? Do I have enough for this coming? Or my boiler's broken down, or the shower's broken down, or the door handle's broken down? Do I have enough money to get my car repaired, or the MOT, etc., etc.? I promise you, if you don't have enough money at the moment, then 99.9% of the time, not when you consciously try and positively think about money in a positive way, most of the time you would be thinking about either your bills, your rent, your mortgage, your credit card payments, your food shopping, your parking fines, your college and school fees, etc., etc., or your kids' school fees for that matter. You will be thinking or subconsciously thinking about some sort of expense which is causing you stress, causing your cortisol level to go up. Remember, cortisol is a hormone that is released when you're stressed, and therefore reducing or lowering your vibration when it comes to money. Okay, so this I want to do. If you haven't done this exercise before, do this exercise right now. And then once the timer goes off, stop writing and then read through what you've written and see what your true feelings are towards money. And I bet you most of you will be surprised to see how negatively and how frustrated you are with money in general terms, and how often you've written the words, do I have enough? Will I have enough? Can I make enough? All right, so that's the first thing I want to do. Now let's get straight into this 3 steps to cash flow mastery system. The very first thing I want you to do is actually go ahead and open up 5 separate bank accounts. Now, I'm saying this with a bit of a caveat because in UK, where I'm based, it was very easy for me to have one main checking account like I do with NatWest, and I can open sub accounts. I can open as many as I want in a sub account as a savings account, because I'm not going to be saving too much in there. But I'm not really interested in the ROI they give me. That's not my main concern. So I can order these sub accounts, these savings accounts, and change the labels on them. Okay. So therefore, I want you to open 5 accounts. Now, depending on which part of the world you're listening to this podcast, this may not be feasible or as easily accessible to you. I completely understand. And in that scenario, I want you to actually, until you build these amounts up in these accounts, I want you to open. Just go and get some 5 jars, 5 boxes, or 5 envelopes. Now, when you're first starting out, because the amounts will be low, jars, boxes, envelopes, anything will do. At least start the strategy. Don't get hung up on the fact that you can't open the 5 bank accounts. Don't get hung up because the fact that you can't actually implement the strategy. Yes, you can. I've simplified it to as much as possible. You can use this strategy and you can just have 5 jars, 5 boxes, in the same way. So we need 5 separate things, 5 separate bank accounts, jars, or envelopes. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is you're going to label them according to the following. The very first account is going to be me account. So this is under your name. So for example, for me, that's Gull's account. For Tina, it'll be Tina's account. For Michael, it'll be Michael's account. For James, it'll be James' account. For Sarah, it'll be Sarah's account. For Reshma, it'll be Reshma's account. Okay? It has to be your name, under your name. Very important. Okay, so the very first one is me account, is under your particular name. I want you to write your name down so you know this is for you. Number 2, account 2 is a fun account. Okay, call it fun account. The title for it is a fun account. Number 3 is your large purchases. Number 4 is charity, and number 5, debt/investments. So let me repeat these 5 accounts again. First one is me account. Second one is fun account. Third one is large purchases. 4th one is charity, and the 5th one is debt/investments account. Now let me explain to you what they are, and I'm going to explain to you in step 3 is you're going to say, well, Phil, how much? So step 3 is when I actually explain to you how much to transfer into each of these 5 bank accounts. Let's start with me account. So why do we put money in me? Why? Because this is money for you. This money belongs to you. This money does not belong to your bills. This money does not belong to your kids. This money does not belong to any other expenses. This is not an emergency fund. This is your money. This is the money that you will always have. And when you put money in this account with the intention that this money belongs only to you, you give this really strong signal to the universe saying, universe, I'm worth it. This is me. I'm paying me. And remember, we are going to put money into these accounts in the order I just gave you. So the very first account you're going to pay money into is the one with your name on it. So the very first account I put money into is the one with Gull's name. It's Gull's account. Okay. And in that way, I'm training my subconscious mind as well as my energetically to the universe, telling the universe, I'm worth it. And my subconscious mind, I'm training to pay myself first. people like, amazing teachers like Robert Kiyosaki. And if you haven't read any Robert Kiyosaki's books, I highly recommend it. He's an amazing author. I love his books. His book Rich Dad Poor Dad and the Cash Flow Quadrant are actually all his books are brilliant, but these two are definitely some amazing books you definitely need to read. He talks about paying yourself first, and so do most of other great leaders as well. But if your question is, well, how? This will teach you how. You pay yourself first. Before anybody else, you pay yourself first. So in this scenario, the money goes into your account first. Now, this is not your business account. This is the money that you take home. Okay, this will be the money, the salary you take home, or if you're running a business, this will be the example. Turnover for your business for the month is 10,000, but your salary from the business is 2,000. This is going to be from that 2,000. Okay, we're not worried about the business income. I'm not concerned with that. That has different energy, has a different vibe to it, and we're not discussing that. We're talking about your personal income, any kind of income. It could be a gift, it could be allowance from somewhere, it could be your salary, it could be the salary you pay to yourself from your business. I don't care from where. This is the money that you receive. So the very first person you're going to pay is you. Now, what this will do is, as this pot increases, because you're never, ever, 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 ever going to spend it. You're not supposed to spend it. It's not there for as an emergency fund. It's just your money, okay? And there's an energy to this, which when this account gets to a certain amount. Now, I haven't seen this be more than 50,000. Generally, this amount is anywhere between £2,000 or $2,000 to about $10,000 to $15,000. That's generally the range that you need to build this account to. When this penny just drops, and you no longer feel you can't create or have money. You just automatically assume that you can have money, and it's very easy for you to make, create, and have money. And I promise you, it's not millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's literally anything between $2,000 and about $10,000 to $15,000. So there has been one person who needed as much as 50,000, but that's just a rarity. Generally, between 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 to 15, up to 15 is what you need to build this account up to before you feel, yep, I'm comfortable. Yes, money I have coming and money comes to me. Okay, that's the first account. Now, the second account is a fund account. Why? Well, let me ask you this. All these big corporations, be it Google or even when I was younger, when I first came into work after my degree, all these big companies have these amazing graduate programs, and even apart from those graduate programs, they also have these in between team building exercises where they take the team of the in a particular department, or maybe sometimes the whole company goes off for these team building exercises. And they actually go and have fun together. Now, why is that? Because when you're actually having fun, you're releasing endorphins. And when you're releasing endorphins, you actually hardwire the image of the person and with fun, and that becomes your and as you are having fun and building trust, that gets locked into your psyche. So you begin to like and trust this person that you're having fun with. Right? So this is exactly what corporations know, and that's why they spend hundreds and thousands of pounds sending the employees off and taking the time, so not actually working, but and so could be productive, but send them off to these team building exercises. But that pays them dividends, because those teams, when they come back, they trust each other and they're able to better work with each other, and therefore the company is more productive, right? This is so important. Now, I use the same exact principles for account 2. Up until this point, and this is where the list that you made just a few moments ago about how you really feel about money would really come to light. Up until now, you've been angry, upset, annoyed, and frustrated with money. But from now on, you want to build a happy, healthy relationship with money. And if that's the case, you need to have a way that you can feel bonded to it, and you can trust money. And the easiest way to trust anyone or build a bond with anyone is to have fun. So this is why up until now, I'm sure you spend money on fun, but it's not allocated. Okay, so I'm sure even now you would go to cinema or you do other things with money, but then you feel guilty about it. What I want you to do is have a dedicated account when you're actually having fun with money. And this is second account for this reason, because it's so important for you to move away from the stress, frustration, anger towards money to actually thinking money is amazing, money is fun, I love having money, I love playing with money, I love keeping money, right? We're building this trust, and trust goes both ways. You have to trust money and money has to trust you. So we're building this amazing trustful relationship between you and money by actually introducing fun into the picture. So fun could be anything. Fun is very subjective. Fun is skydiving. For another person, it's scuba diving. For somebody else, it could be driving fast cars. For somebody else, it could be just going to the cinema. For somebody else, it's actually, sitting near a beach and reading a book. Fun is very, very subjective. So whatever fun means to you. Now, again, share something personal for me. In my early days, when I was, when I came up with the strategy, I love movies. I think everybody knows me. I love Bollywood. I love Hollywood. I love Tollywood. I like all South Asian movies. If there's a good movie, I'll watch it. I love movies, right? So my kids and I really enjoy going to the cinema. And at that time, all I could afford was going to the cinema. I think first it was once a month, and then it became, every other week, and then it became every week and so forth. And I remember that when the first time you could go to the cinema, I didn't even have enough money. I just barely had enough money for a free ticket, and I didn't have money for that chose, the food stuff that you normally buy. So I remember going to there's an Asda next to it. I remember going to the Asda first, picking up a popcorn for £1 and putting it in my bag and taking some water from home and giving the water and the popcorn to my children. But that's still very special for us because we had fun together. We enjoyed it. I think I can't remember what movie we watched, but we had a great time together and we loved it, right? That was fun for us, and that we looked forward to it, and that was fun for me. So you can do this with somebody else. You can do it with a partner or your children. You can have fun with it, but you have to be involved. You cannot give this money for someone else to go and have fun. That scenario doesn't work. You can't give it to your children for them to go and have fun with their friends. This has to involve you because you have to have fun with the money. Very important. Okay, so you're going to have fun with money, and this is why this is second account. As you build this account up, so for example, even if you don't go to have fun every single week, as you're putting money into this account, you're anticipating going and doing the activity, be it a spa day or going to the beach or skydiving or scuba diving or whatever, it makes you happy, whatever you think is fun. Then you're anticipating doing that. So you're already bringing in the energy of fun and excitement and happiness into this between you and money. But not only that, once you've actually been through it, you've had the experience, you'll remember it. And when you're reminiscing, we went there and we went to that movie, even to this day, 4 years down the line, when I think about the time when we went to watch the movie, I feel happy, and I feel it was such an achievement for me because I had very little money at the time. For me to even be able to afford to take my kids to the movies, it was a great thing. Nobody outside of my life actually knew what I was going through, because I wasn't going to ask for help from my material help from my family or other people. So I didn't borrow money from anybody. I just coped with my own way because I knew what to do. I asked help from Devices Energy, and I created situations where I was able to cope. And I was able to take my children up for a little bit of outing for us to have fun together. I was very proud of myself. And that memory still sticks to me. Whereas now going to the movies is just like second nature. And I've taken them to Bali, and we've taken them to Maldives, and we've gone to other places. But that was initially where I barely could take them to the movies, and I couldn't even afford popcorn. And that memory still stays with me, and I still enjoy it. I still enjoy that memory. That's how powerful this could be, right? Right. So account number 3 is a large purchase account. And this account is very important because this is where we're teaching you're learning to have delayed gratification. Unfortunately, we've become a society of buy first, pay later. So credit cards and loans, etc. come about, where you just put everything on credit cards and then you're paying all the time. Now the question here is, when you've purchased something on a credit card, how many times are you paying for it? Just the once or multiple times? And the answer is multiple times. So every time you receive that credit card statement, either through the hard copy or through the digital copy, whichever form, it doesn't really matter, it has it in black and white, the amount that you still owe. And every time you see that, your heart sinks. So you're paying for it again and again and again and again. And every time you see it, your heart sinks. So your low vibration gets lower. And guess what you're doing? If your vibration sinks when you see this, your energy and your relationship with money is is deteriorating more and more. And guess what? Because you're focusing on this debt, you are creating more debt. You'll attract to you circumstances and energies which will create greater and greater debt. Very, very important for you to recognize this, okay? Because this is how people spiral into more and more debt, and they get themselves in a right pickle. Okay, so we are teaching you here with this account to delay your gratification, for you to save up before you spend. So the money from this account you will spend when you are, for example, if you want to save up for an iPad, maybe deposit for a car. So instead of anything that you normally put on a credit card, you would buy from this account. Okay? Large purchases. And obviously, initially it won't have much in here, but as you use the strategy, as you build it, more and more money will come to you, and the amount in these accounts will increase as well. And then that's when it becomes fruitful for you, and that's when that's when this strategy really kicks in and becomes super effective. Yeah. So that's account number 3. Now, account number 4 is self-explanatory, but I'm still going to talk about it. Everyone I know talks about giving, talks about tithing. Right? Now, I've grown up in a religious environment, and I am religious, and I do practice my religion, and I do believe in giving. But the way when it comes to giving in this scenario, I don't care who you give to. So you don't have to give to the church. You don't have to give to the mosque. You don't have to give to the mandir. You don't have to give to the temple. You need to give to whoever you feel that you resonate with. So this could be a neighbor. It could be a relative. It could be a mother, your father, your brother, your sister, someone, whoever it is. So charity, as I say, charity begins at home. You don't have to give to your siblings either. Whoever resonates with you, and this could even be like a charity for cats and dogs and dolphins and whatever charity or whatever cause, whatever person resonates with you, who you think deserves your help, who you really want to help, you go and you use this money to help them. Now, there is a condition on here. The money you give has to be unconditional. There has to be no strings attached. You can't think, well, I'm going to help my brother, and then when I'm in need, my brother will help me. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way, right? This giving has to be totally unconditional, and you're giving it, and that's the first condition. It has to be totally unconditional. And secondly, we have this, I know this happens a lot in most religions, where you say, well, you give £1 in the name of God, and God will give you 10 back. Why are you bartering with God, for God's sakes, right? God is divine. Why do you want to limit yourself? Why do you want to limit it to 10? Why do you want to say, well, God, I'm giving you 1, please give me back 10? God could give you 100, 1,000, even 1,000,000 back. You never know what's going to come to you. So why do you want to barter? Why do you want to limit yourself? And if you do barter and say, well, God, I'm giving 10 in the way of you, can you please return me 100? I promise you won't get more than 100. Whereas if you give it unconditionally, you say, God, I'm giving it because you've given me so much. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for all the blessings you've given to me. I'm giving this to someone else because so they can have some of your blessings too. I promise you will get thousands, if not hundreds of thousands in return back. Because you're not bartering anymore. Okay, you're giving it unconditionally without any strings attached. And finally, most importantly, you can't give anything without having in the first place. So when you keep saying, I don't have money, I don't have money, I don't have money, when you start giving away like this, okay, from this number 4th account, you can't give it away unless you had it. So again, you're training your subconscious mind. We're training your subconscious mind to think, I have money. I have money that I can actually give away unconditionally and to someone so they can have money too. You can't give something unless you have it. So if you're giving money away, that means you had money in the first place. Now, the last one is debt/investment account. Now, for this account, what you can either do is either, first of all, pay off all your debts first, and then once all your debts are paid off, and this could be credit cards, mortgage, whatever you want to pay off, or the other scenario, which I prefer, is to make it into 50-50. So 50% of the money in this account goes additionally towards paying credit cards or loans or even towards a mortgage, and 50% of the money from this account goes towards investments. Now, why? Now tell me this, and obviously you can't reply back, but I want you to play along with me. If I ask you, okay, so what comes to your mind when you think of investors? Okay, what's normally that comes to mind? So the average person, when they hear the word investor or investments, they think of wealthy people, because guess what? Wealthy people and rich people invest, right? Even though in this day and age, we are living in the golden age where you can start investments for as low as 50 quid or even 25 pounds, right? So if you can become an investor with even 25 or 50 pounds, guess what we just did? Within a snap of a second, literally a second, we've gone from somebody who doesn't have money to, to connecting ourselves into the same, into putting ourselves in the same category as the wealthy people, because the wealthy invest and now we're investing. Can you see how powerful that is for you? And how powerfully that will change your mindset in terms of what's possible for you? Because you will start identifying with the energies of a wealthy person, of an investor. And as this pot grows, your confidence in your ability to create and have wealth will also grow. Really powerful stuff. This really, really powerful. So the recap is, the very first account is a me account, which should be under your name. So mine's Gull's account. And the second one is fun account, right? And we're having fun with money. The third one is large purchases. The fourth one is charity, and that could be anyone. It could be a cat, a dog, a dolphin, or a neighbor, or a relative, or one of these other charities. It doesn't really matter who or what, as long as it resonates with you. And the fifth account is debt/investment. So you can either first pay off all your debts and then use this account for investment, or use 50% to pay off towards your debts a lot faster, and 50% towards investments, which is my recommended way. Okay, so that's step number 2. You label all in each of these accounts. Now, step number 3 is how much do you transfer into? So the amount of you transfer money into these accounts. So step 3 is every single month, or however you're paid, if it's bi-weekly or weekly or a monthly or quarterly, however you're paid, whenever you receive any money, any sum of money, you would pay into these 5 accounts first, and then you use surplus, whatever's left over for your normal daily, the normally monthly expenses. Now the question comes in, well, how do I do that? Because I barely am surviving. Well, don't worry, I've got you. I told you I designed this when I was going through that exact same situation, and therefore I know how it feels when you don't even have enough for bread and butter. Okay, so this is for those people who are struggling to make ends meet. So if you're struggling to make ends meet, I want you to put 1% when you receive it, whatever kind of money you receive, 1% should go into each of these 5 bank accounts. 1%. Okay. So, for example, if you make up, for argument's sake, if you make £100, £1 would go into each of these 5 bank accounts. So that would mean you're left with £95 for your normal expenses, your everything else. Now, you will have to make adjustments, and I promise you already are spending money on these, especially fun and a few other things, debts and stuff. And if you just sort out your finances, manage it better, you'll be able to find that money. I promise you will. It does require adjustments, which is fine, right? But you will be able to do that. Okay. Now, if you tell me that you really cannot, you really can't, 1% is too much for you, then start with 0.5%. But I'm adamant you should not start with £1 or £2. You should start with 0.5% or 1%. Okay. Reason being, as your income increases, and it will, if you implement the strategy for the next 3 months and do it correctly and be very disciplined in it, your wealth will grow. You cannot help but it grow. It has to grow. There is no way around it. This is the law. We are employing both spiritual and man-made laws. I'm going to explain that to you in a bit. And we're employing both those. And when you employ both of those, you can't help but attract more money. You can't help but attract more opportunities. You can't get random gifts of money. And this is why I want you to stick to a percentage. So it doesn't matter where the money comes from and what amount, you will actually be loyal and disciplined and put the percentage amount into each of these 5 bank accounts. Okay? Start with 0.5% if you can't do 1, but ideally every single person can do 1%. Every single person can. Okay? And if you really cannot, then start with 0.5%. So that's the first thing. Now we have 3 tiers. The first tier is for those who are struggling. And when you get better and when you adjust to this, you increase it to 1%, to 1.5%, to 2%, all the way up to 3%. So the first tier is 1 to 3%, which is a struggling tier. Okay, And then the next tier is the maintaining one. So if you are somebody who's maintaining, so you're okay, you're able to meet all your expenses and you don't have much left over, but you are okay, you're not struggling, then for you should be putting 3 to 5% into each of these 5 bank accounts. Now, using the 3% example, so for example, if you get £100 per week for your, as a salary, let's say, then you'd put £3 into each of these 5 bank accounts, which would mean £15 have gone into each of these 5 bank accounts. That leaves you with £85 for the rest of your expenses. Okay, so remember, you are maintaining, you're not struggling, so you should be able to, again, it will require adjustment, but you'll be able to do it. For those people who are comfortable and that they have a little bit left over and they're trying to get a little bit of savings and they're getting by, they're okay, but you're not wealthy yet. For those of you who are in the comfortable stage, I'm going to recommend the third tier, which is 5 to 10%. So 5 to 10% of your income would go into each of these 5 bank accounts first, and then you will spend the rest. So everyone should aim to eventually get into the comfortable stage and be putting 10% away into each of these 5 bank accounts. And that would mean 50% has gone into each of these 5 bank accounts, and you survive on 50% of your income. Okay, so using this example, so this starts from 5%. So using the example 5%, so if you're in the comfortable stage and you're starting out, you would put 5% in each of these 5 bank accounts, which would mean you put £25 away in these 5 bank accounts. You're going to live off your, for the rest of the month or whatever, on £75. Okay, that's how it works. Now, I want, regardless of which tier you fall under, I want you to start with 1%. Why? Because I want you to get used to the idea of using the strategy. So for the next 3 months, I just want you to start with 1%. And as you adjust, as you can see the benefits of this, as you start attracting more opportunities and more money towards yourself, depending on where you are, first tier, second or third tier, I want you to gradually build this percentage up to 1.5 to 2 to 3 to 3.5, 4, and gradually take it all the way up to 10%. Obviously, all the while, the money should be increasing and you'll get more and more money coming to you. And that's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter if it takes you 2 years to get to 10%. It normally won't, but I've seen it happen, within a year people get to 10%, but you can start off with whatever you are right now, as long as you implement the strategy. Okay, so why does this work so well? This strategy is absolutely fantastic because guess what? We are here employing both man-made laws of money, which is managing and spending and working out and budgeting, etc., and taxes, and combined with spiritual laws of money, where we're changing how we feel about money, and we're changing the signal we're giving off to the ethers of the universe and sending a high vibration to the universe and attracting high vibration money back to us. So we are using both sides, okay? We're rowing with both sides of the boat now. We are employing the man-made laws of actually strategizing and using our budgets, etc., to use our money well, the money that we already have coming in, yet we are employing also the spiritual laws of money by changing our feelings towards money in a happier, more grander, more comfortable way. And as we get more and more happier and more comfortable with having, keeping and making money, the more and more money will show up for us. Okay, and this 3-step to cash flow mastery encompasses both these laws beautifully. I hope you enjoy this process. I hope you will implement the strategy. It's one of my favorite strategies to talk about. It's something that I do cover extensively in my challenges as well, and I'll show you how to do it, and I even have a 6-week program on it. So I hope you enjoy it and I hope you get value from this. And that also reminds me, if you are receiving value from this podcast, if you are enjoying listening to it, please do leave us a review here on iTunes. And if you're watching this on a video series, because we do have video series for this, then please do leave us a comment in the bottom. And I do come back and read every single comment, and I do reply back myself. And I enjoy reading those. So please support us on our journey. The more love you give to us, the more support you give to us, the more we can reach out, and the more we can work on this podcast and the video series and get more of this content out there. Thank you so much for all your love and support so far. I'm truly humbled with all the love that's coming my way and all the outpouring of support that's come my way, because even though we are quite new, we're a new podcast, and I'm really thrilled. Thank you so much. Please continue to support us and do leave us a review. And if you want to learn more about me, then come to our website, gullkhan.com. Okay, until the next time I see you, take care and bye for now.